Is Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with the IRS. Welcome to my YouTube. I'm just finishing my lunch. My office is across the street. I enjoy sitting at home just pounding out these YouTubes. I should be able to do it. I don't read scripts. I've been doing this for 50 years. I worked at IRS for a decade. I've been in private practice for 4 decades. This August I've been doing this 50 years. Many of you have seen me on national TV and you're coming to me through that medium, so I appreciate. By the way, I do ask for subscriptions at the end. I try to give you the neatest information and tell you the truth and give you insider information. You can see my whole team of former IRS agents too. On there, I'm reading what I've got to do here today. So today, what I'm going to talk to you about is the IRS trust fund penalty and understanding your options for relief. So as a former IRS agent, I used to set up these trust fund taxes. So if you're asking about trust fund relief, many of you know that when you don't pay your back payroll taxes, IRS, the revenue officer working the case, will go ahead and set up what's called the 6672 penalty and determine who's liable and who's responsible for that penalty. And then IRS will go and set those persons up for an assessment. So basically that's what I would do. I'd go ahead and I'd interview people. I'd look at bank signature cards and corporate resolutions. I'd talk to people, ask for a 4180 form, and then I'd determine who's liable. Then you had a chance to go ahead and go to appeals and say, I'm not liable, but some of you have already got stuck with the trust fund tax. So what do you do and what's your next step? Well, you may not have been responsible, and maybe you didn't have good representation. So one of the ideas for penalty relief is actually go ahead and file a offer and compromise doubt as to liability, and go ahead and say, I don't owe the money, I want a rehearing on this, and then you provide new information to them. So that's one way that you can do that, is you can challenge the liability itself. If you don't challenge it, you are now stuck with that trust fund penalty, and that's going to linger around for 10 years. So what IRS is going to do, IRS is going to set up an assessment against you, just like a regular tax return. So IRS just says, okay, they send it to the computer, and now you owe this trust fund for 10 years, just like you would file a 1040. So what's IRS going to do to collect the money, and what are you going to do? Well, just like on a personal tax return, you have three options to deal with your trust fund taxes. IRS is going to take a financial statement from you, either a 433F or a 433A, depending who has it, and they're going to close your case in one of three ways. I mean, off the IRS system. They're either going to put you, based on your financial statement, it's a currently non-collectible, which it'll stay there for a couple years, and it'll come back out and see what finances you got or what's changed. They may get you a payment agreement, or you can file another offer and compromise doubt as to a collectability, which means I don't have the money to pay it. So you're going to do really one of four things. You're going to challenge the liability. IRS is going to say, okay, you're going to admit it. And then at that point, IRS is going to say, based on your current financial statement, we're going to put you in currently non-collectible hardship. They're going to go ahead and put you in a payment agreement, or you can file an offer and compromise. So those are the four avenues you have for penalty relief with that. What do most people do? Believe it or not, most people challenge it because they didn't think that they owed it. But what you really need to do, if in fact you did owe it, is you need to show somebody your current financial statement. I like them on Form 433A. I was a revenue officer, so if you were to send me that 433A, I would tell you what I could do with that form, what would be the best bet for you, what could I possibly do for you, and that's what you want to happen. If you have this and you know IRS is going to come knock, and you need to have someone who knows what they're doing, look at the form. Get whoever you want, but make sure you give that person the financial statement, fill out a 433, and give it to someone and say, look at this. What is IRS going to do? Are there any moves I can make? Where do you think this is going? Remember, your statute of limitations is 10 years. Anyway, those are your options. If you have any questions about trust fund, leave them for me in the comment section. Please I try to give you the information you need. Please give me a subscription if you would. That really helps me out. Kind of keeps me going to know people actually listen. So thank you very much.